Hello YouTube, here we are again. It's going to be week 8 and I decided to do another little tutorial video on how to drive another track, and this week we are going for the IMSA Hagerty Series in the LMP2, which means we're going to Spa and we're going to get a little bit of an insight on how to handle the track pretty well. So we have our merchandise shop open, and if you want to have some cool stuff, take a look there. Link is down below in the description, and yeah, you can support the team really big times with just helping us out on that front. So if you want to, give it a go. As always, we're going to start over with the lap, full speed, no further ado, just looking from my cockpit perspective what I'm doing. And then afterwards we're going into the detailed description. So here we go. So as you could tell from the lap time that was standing there on the flying lap, it was a 201.6, which is roughly a tenth short of what Krönke is doing, which is still okay-ish. I think for not being an alien driver, that's pretty good. I am, by the way, on Krönke's set. I would recommend using your Garage 465 setups as of now, because they're really good. But it's not out yet, so I decided to go with the VRS setup instead. Didn't change anything, a little bit of brake bias, shifting to the rear to fit my driving style, and that's basically it. So without further ado, let's start over. We are heading on the start and finish straight, nothing special. Try to hit the brakes around the 100 meter board. That's pretty simple, quite hard, like maybe 80%-ish. Without locking up the tires, obviously decreasing the brake pressure. The only important thing is that you need to stick to the outside line as long as possible, and that you drive on the rubber in tarmac basically, so that you get the optimum grip that you have, because the corner folds down a little bit, so you go through some kind of a bump, which you can use to rotate the car a little bit. And basically as soon as you go through the bump, you hit the throttle. I'm at 100% at that point, lifting off a little bit because the rear stepped out. You can go very far on the outside here. That's not an off track, so take everything that you need. And then basically it gets to the rouge, which is pretty straightforward. Don't try to overcut the curb here because you can floor out, and if you floor out it can make the car unstable, or iRacing can do some weird physics stuff, so don't do that. Just go over the red and that should be enough. It's basically flat. Stick in 5th gear, that's important. At the top you can't cut as much as this. That's not an off track. If the outside tire in that case is still on the red and white ripple strip, it's not an off track, so you want to open up the steering wheel here very early to let the car roll as much as possible, to take as much speed. Can give you up to a 10th up the hill, nothing special here. Then we get to, yeah, at the end of the camel straight into those chicanes, which are pretty difficult. I find this is the most difficult combination we have with the LMP2 on this track. You can use the outside ripple strip to have a better turning into the corner, but you don't need to use that, depending on what you like more. I'm still not 100% sure if I want to do that when I'm racing, but for the moment, if I'm on a hot lap, I'll definitely go out there because it just gives me a better turning into the corner. Hitting the brakes not as hard, maybe like 70%-ish. Decreasing it slowly, as you can see, and then fully smashing it over the inside curb. That's important here, to take as much speed through the corner as you want to. And then what I'm doing is I'm giving the car a little throttle bump as soon as I start shifting over into the other corner, which gives the car a rotation into it. It gives the car a momentum so that I can rotate to the other side a little bit better, so that I'm fully over that curb as well. With Kronka setup, the car starts bumping a little bit, so you can stick away of the curbs if you want to. Then go as far to the outside as possible, and you have to steer into that corner. From my perspective, from the feeling of it, it's way too early, but then it's just 100% right. Car is going to be loose here, so be aware of that. I'm not fully throttled. Don't go over this curb here because it has this little, it flattens basically at the end, those green things, whatever, those mats, whatever they're called. You don't want to go over this basically, because if you go over there, the car will floor out and you will eventually lose time. This is not an off track, but as soon as you clip the gravel, it's basically an off track, so don't do that. I'm sticking in 4th, I'm not shifting up in 5th here. Hitting brakes pretty hard, going down into 2nd, inside the corner into 1st. Overshoot it just a little bit, making it a little bit more like a V shape that you want to drive here. You see it? Like, I'm way more to the inside as where the rubber line is, so I'm trying to drive it a little bit as a V shape, going a little bit to the outside, over brake it, turn it on the point, and then accelerate it out again. Feels the best way to me. Go out on the curb. You don't want to hit that because it makes the car very unstable. It's either you go fully over it, that you're with the inside tire really on those rippled strips here on the inside, or you don't want to touch it. That's basically that's the most important thing to do. You can track out like this here. That's not an off track. Off track would happen as soon as you clip the rain drainage here. Take as much speed as possible, and now comes super fun Pouhon. Go fully to the outside here to take as much momentum into the corner, because the curb here also has one advantage. It's shifted up, so it gives you more load on the outside tire, so you can go faster into the corners. You can have a better momentum. Go down to 4th gear here, let it roll a little bit, and then fully smash it and take as much speed as you can. You can see I'm going out here. That's not an off track. I'm half a car width or a total car width away from the inside, and still it's faster than being on the inside there. Depending on how good the corner you get, you can stick to the inside which apparently is better because you use less way. But I would always prefer the speed that you take here, because it gains me the most time. So I'm using the speed, staying away off the inside, and I'm not trying to go there when I get the speed. Another chicane, also pretty difficult, I find. Brake it hard from 5th, shifting down into 2nd gear. You can also make it work in 3rd. I overshot this a little bit. It's more ideal. That was basically the only corner that I fucked up on this lap. You want to be right here at that very moment so that you have the better momentum for the left-hand side. So I totally screwed that. I think that's maybe 2/10 down. And this is an off-track, by the way. So this is not a clean lap. This is an off-track lap. I was hitting this rain drainage, and that's giving you the off-track. So it's nothing that I gained there. It's just that it's an off-track. Fully to the outside again. Go down to 3rd gear. Yeah, I think I'm even in 2nd here from hearing the sound engine. Let me quickly double check that. Yeah, that's 2nd. That's 3rd. 4th. Really important here. You can go as far as this. That's not an off-track. That's for some weird reason. This is not an off-track, while on every other curb hitting the ribble, the rain drainage is an off-track. Here it's not the case, so you can really track out very far at this corner. Stick to the outside as long as possible so that you can just easy flat this corner here without any headaches, and don't need to steer too much. Go full to the inside, go full to the inside. Just flat it out basically. Nothing special. Try to steer as little as possible in those corners. And this braking point is pretty difficult. I'm always using the shadows. I know some of you use the... Oh, you can't see that. Hold on. Some of you use this orange stripe there, but it's difficult for me to see a lot of the time. So I'm always tending to have my markers at the white line and then basically at the shadow that is here. And this like graveled in tarmac, for whatever reason it looks like that. That's always where I hit the brakes. That's my marker. Hit it pretty hard, up to 95% in the very first instant, then decrease it slowly. Overshoot the corner a little bit to get a better exit here. All 1st gear, full throttle. That's it. That's a lap around spot. As always, give it a thumbs up if you like what you see. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications to this. It really helps out a lot for the team, so